The Indiana University Maurer School of Law is located on the campus of Indiana University in Bloomington, Indiana. U Maurer is one of the top 10 public law schools in the United States, and tied for 25th overall, according to rankings published by U.S. News and World Report. The school is named after Michael S. "Mickey" Maurer, an Indianapolis businessman and 1967 alumnus who donated $35 million in 2008. From its founding in 1842 until Maurer's donation, the school was known as the Indiana University School of Law, Bloomington. The law school is one of two law schools operated by Indiana University, the other being the Indiana University Robert H. McKinney School of Law in Indianapolis. Although both law schools are part of Indiana University, each law school is wholly independent of the other. According to the law school's ABA-required disclosures, 80.1% of the class of 2013 obtained full-time, long-term, JD-required employment 9 months after graduation. History and background. Founded in 1842, the Indiana University Maurer School of Law is one of the oldest law schools in the nation. The school is located on the southwest corner of the Indiana University Bloomington campus, which puts it in the center of Bloomington. The school maintains significant alumni bases in Indianapolis, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and New York. Since its founding, U Maurer has produced many notable alumni, including a Justice of the Supreme Court, numerous state Supreme Court justices and federal appellate and district court judges. The school has one of the largest academic law libraries in the United States with more than 450,000 volumes, and a beautiful location for academic study referred to by students and faculty as the Pit. Recent enhancements to the library include increased seating and study space, improved green lighting systems, and an online institutional repository. The library was ranked third in the country by National Jurist magazine in March 2010. U Maurer is home of the Center on the Global Legal Profession, which conducts empirical research on the profession. This research helps inform the curriculum, with the goal of producing prepared, ethical, and educated lawyers for today's competitive world. As part of the enhanced curriculum, all first-year students are enrolled in a 4-hour course on the legal profession, which examines not only the ethical responsibilities of the profession, but also the many career options that a law degree offers. The course also includes career choices, a series of sessions with alumni and other practitioners from a variety of settings, which exposes students to career options early in the law school experience. Employment. According to the school's ABA-required disclosures, 80.1% of the class of 2013 had obtained full-time, long-term, JD-required employment 9 months after graduation. The comparable percentage for the class of 2012 was 64.7%. Costs. The total cost of attendance at U Maurer for the 2014-2015 academic year is $54,233 for an in-state resident, and $73,039 for a non-Indiana resident. Academics. Academic reputation. In its 2016 rankings report, U.S. News and World Report ranked the U Maurer School of Law 25th among the nation's top 100 law schools. The school previously ranked 25th in the 2014 publication and 26th in the 2013 publication. The law school typically ranks among top 10 public law schools in the U.S., according to U. News. Admissions. More than 1,800 people applied to join the 2014 fall entering class, with 184 matriculating. The 25th and 75th LSAT percentiles for the 2014 entering class were 154 and 163, respectively, with a median of 161. The 25th and 75th undergraduate GPA percentiles were 3.32 and 3.88, respectively, with a median of 3.72. For the 2014 entering JD class, 63% of the incoming class was from outside Indiana, 39% were women, and 29% were minorities. The school has no part-time or evening program. All students are full-time. Degrees offered. The Juris Doctor degree is offered. The school also partners with Jindal Global Law School in New Delhi, India, Sungkyunkwan University GSB in Seoul, Korea, and with the University of Oxford's Oxford Internet Institute. Clinics and externships. Community Legal Clinic, Conservation Law Clinic, Disability Law Clinic, Elder Law Clinic, Elmore Entrepreneurship Law Clinic, Viola J. Taliaferro Family and Children Mediation Clinic, Judicial Field Placements, Criminal Law Externship, Independent Clinical Projects, Indiana Legal Services Externship, Non-Profit Legal Clinic, Social Enterprise and Non-Profit Clinic, Public Interest Externship Program, Private Practice Externship Program, Student Legal Services Externship, Washington Public Interest Program, Intellectual Property Law Clinic, Competitions and Student Organizations. Students compete in several competitions, including Sherman Minton Moot Court Competition, Jessup International Moot Court Competition, Trial Practice Competition, and Negotiations Competition. U.S. Maurer has more than 30 student organizations, including Intellectual Property Association, International Law Society, and Public Interest Law Foundation. Local chapters of national organizations include the American Constitution Society, Federalist Society for Law and Public Studies, and American Bar Association Law Student Division. Publications: Indiana Journal of Global Legal Studies, Indiana Law Journal, IP Theory, Indiana Journal of Law and Social Equality. Centers. Center for Constitutional Democracy seeks to study and promote constitutional democracy in countries marked by ethnic, religious, linguistic, and other divisions. Founded and directed by John S. Hastings Professor of Law David Williams, the CCD focuses its work in Burma, Liberia, South Sudan, and Libya, training the reform leaders of these countries in constitutionalism, parliamentary process, and legal ordering. The center focuses its efforts on the constitutional aspects of democratic reform, enabling plural societies to peaceably provide meaningful self-governance to all the citizens. The CCD is the only educational institution in the United States that offers students the chance to work directly and regularly with foreign reform leaders to support constitutional democracy. Center for Law, Society, and Culture. The fundamental mission of the Center for Law, Society, and Culture is to promote and disseminate a multidisciplinary understanding of law through scholarship, teaching, and discussion. The center produces, presents, and coordinates research conducted by exceptional scholars in schools and departments across Indiana University on the subject of law and legal problems. The center supports research related to the law in a broad sense, including cultural aspects of law expressed through political theory and the humanities, and scientific aspects of law expressed through technological advance in biotechnology, environmental science, and information technology. Center for Applied Cybersecurity Research. The center draws on Indiana University's wide range of scholarship scholarly expertise in computer science, informatics, accounting and information systems, criminal justice, law, organizational behavior, public policy, and related disciplines. Recently, the National Security Agency designated the center a National Center of Academic Excellence in Information Assurance Education. Center on the Global Legal Profession. Forces of globalization, politics and the economy create enormous challenges and opportunities for lawyers, clients, policymakers, law schools and the public. The Center on the Global Legal Profession focuses on the role of lawyers in society, the business of lawyering, and the organizational context housing legal practice. The Center's faculty and fellows examine these issues through the lens of empirical research, using original and existing data and utilizing both quantitative and qualitative methodology. The law school's Milton Stewart Fellows are selected in a competitive process each year for internships in India, South Korea, and Brazil under the direction of the Center on the Global Legal Profession. The school also engages in collaborative and study abroad programs with schools of law in China, South Korea, Taiwan, New Zealand, England, Ireland, Germany, France, Spain, and Poland. Center for Intellectual Property Research supports study in all aspects of intellectual property law and allied fields, including patent, trademark, unfair competition, copyright and information policy. The mission of the Center for Law Ethics and Applied Research in Health Information is to address the ethical, policy, and social issues necessary to enhancing the availability of health information to facilitate treatment and research and improve health outcomes for patients. Faculty. Maurer School of Law faculty include former Supreme Court clerks, practicing attorneys from some of the nation's top firms, former U.S. government administrators and legal consultants, and visiting professors from around the world, drawing on their varied experiences and in close collaboration with one another. U Maurer faculty members consistently produce work that has a tangible impact on the legal profession. In addition to the current faculty, U Maurer has been honored by the teaching and scholarship of distinguished professors throughout its history. Some of them are Morris S. Arnold, Senior Status Judge for the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Eighth Circuit, served briefly as Dean in the 1980s. Bernard Gavitt, Dean of Indiana Law in the 1930s and 40s, who guided the school's rise to preeminence. Julius Getman, nationally known scholar in labor and employment law. James Hughes, law professor in the 1850s, Judge, U.S. Court of Claims. Paul McNutt, youngest dean in the law school's history, Governor of Indiana during the Great Depression, High Commissioner to the Philippines. S.J. Plager, Dean from 1977 to 84, secured funding for faculty growth and building expansion, currently Senior Circuit Judge, U.S. Court of Appeals for the Federal Circuit. Notable alumni. U Maurer counts among its alumni many distinguished leaders in politics, public service, and the judiciary. Shirley Abrahamson, Chief Justice, Wisconsin Supreme Court. Harold E. Accord, Justice of the Supreme Court of Indiana. Birch Bay, U.S. Senator. David L. Cardin, U.S. Ambassador to ASEAN. Hoagy Carmichael, American composer. Franklin Cleckley, first African-American Justice of the West Virginia Supreme Court. George N. Craig, Governor of Indiana. Gonzalo P. Curiel, Judge, U.S. District Court for the Southern District of California. Roger O. Debrilla, Justice of the Supreme Court of Indiana. S. Hugh Dillon, U.S. District Court Judge. Jesse E. Eskbach, Judge, U.S. Court of Appeals for the Seventh Circuit. Scott Flanders, CEO of Playboy Enterprises, Inc. Richard Given, Justice of the Supreme Court of Indiana. Willis Gorman, U.S. Congressman. Charles A. Halleck, U.S. Congressman. Lee H. Hamilton, U.S. Congressman and Chairman of the 9/11 Commission and the Iraq Study Group. Pamela Jones Harbor, Commissioner of the Federal Trade Commission. Vance Hartker, U.S. Senator. John S. Hastings, Judge, U.S. Court of Appeals for the Seventh Circuit. George Washington Henley, Justice of the Supreme Court of Indiana. Faisal al-Istrabadi, Iraqi UN Ambassador. Paul G. Jasper, Justice of the Supreme Court of Indiana. William E. Jenner, U.S. Senator. Michael S. Kanj, Judge, U.S. Court of Appeals for the Seventh Circuit. Earl Kintner, Chair of Federal Trade Commission in the Eisenhower era. Frederick Landis, Jr., Justice of the Supreme Court of Indiana. Rodolfo Lozano, U.S. District Court Judge. Frank McCloskey, U.S. Congressman. Larry J. McKinney, Chief Judge, U.S. District Court. Sherman Minton, Justice, U.S. Supreme Court, U.S. Senator. James E. Noland, U.S. District Court Judge. Frank O'Bannon, Governor of Indiana. Dixon Prentice, Justice of the Supreme Court of Indiana. Frederick E. Rakestraw, Justice of the Supreme Court of Indiana. Florida Ruth P. Romero, Justice of the Supreme Court of the Philippines. Loretta H. Rush, Justice of the Supreme Court of Indiana. Curtis G. Shake, Justice of the Supreme Court of Indiana. Jeffrey G. Slaughter, Justice of the Supreme Court of Indiana. George P. Smith II, Law Professor, Lecturer, Scholar. Shap Smith, Speaker of the Vermont House of Representatives. William Stewart, Chief Counsel to the National Labor Relations Board. Frank Sullivan, Jr., Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of Indiana. John D. Tinder, Judge, U.S. Court of Appeals for the Seventh Circuit. Walter Emanuel Trina, Judge, U.S. Court of Appeals for the Seventh Circuit and Justice of the Supreme Court of Indiana. Joseph Van Bockelin, U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Indiana, U.S. District Court Judge. Michael Uslan, originator of Batman movie series. Richard B. Wadden, Indiana State Representative, journalist and author. Wendell Willkie, presidential candidate.